Senator Ludlam, I don't think. Just two or three, if Senator McLucas can finish off.
I'll be brief. I'm going to continue in similar vein as Senator Siewert, because there's actually a motion before the Senate at the moment to the government to provide an estimate of how many people will be made homeless as a result of the cumulative impact of the budget measures. Maybe Senator Fierravanti-Wells, you want to take this one. Does the government intend to provide that figure, or that at least that modelling and estimate?
Well, can I just make a couple of points if I can?
I'm after a reply to the question.
Well,
would be better.
As Mr Palmer has said, there are exemptions, and as Mr Pratt has eloquently responded, that this calculation has not been done.
Okay. It's not been done. The department's not sitting there helplessly waiting for direction from government, though you're meant to be providing frank and fearless advice. Will the department provide this committee and the Senate with an estimate of how many additional people will be made homeless, because that has direct consequences for service providers who are already struggling, as a result of the 2014-15 budget?
Well, two comments there, Senator. One is, and this was well covered yesterday, we do not do calculations of impacts of budget measures that go beyond what this department is responsible for. That is a role for Treasury, not for this department. And subject to the outcome of the process you have described in the Senate, we will react to what the government wishes us to do following that.
So I'm working with 40 or 50 people sleeping in their cars and in swags and in tents in a car park in Rockingham. What do I take home to them about this government's policy on homelessness, and whether the cumulative impacts of the budget that's before the Parliament now will be to throw thousands or probably tens of thousands of more people into homelessness? Senator Fierravanti-Wells, do you intend to at least try and provide an estimate of the additional impact that crisis centres, support centres and shelters are going to need to provide to the additional people who will be made homeless as a result of the budget? Can you at least commit to coming up with an estimate so that your department and the service providers on the front line and the people sleeping in the car park will have some idea of the impacts?
Senator Ludlam, I think Mr Palmer's comments about we are not in a position to estimate that figure.
Don't you think it would be a useful thing to find out?
Well, he gave you the reasons why.
I'm asking you.
Mr Palmer is giving advice in relation to that point. He's answering your question, Senator Ludlam. Mr Pratt also indicated the position, and I don't add anything further to that. The reality is that there are provisions in the budget, in the budget in relation to vulnerability and homelessness, and their exemptions in relation to provisions, and I can't add anything further. And as Mr Pratt said, this matter, Senator Ludlam, I'm not sure if you were present yesterday, matters pertinent to provisions in the budget to deal with social security matters were well canvassed yesterday at estimates. I'm not sure, Senator Ludlam, if you attended, but as Mr Pratt said, perhaps I'm sure that had you been present, you could have asked these questions, but I'm sure you would have got the same response that we're giving you this morning.
That's the first point of agreement.
Senator McLucas.